This is ABC15 Mornings.
You saw the footage. A Tempe police officer holding a black man at gunpoint outside of a hotel after responding to a call about a white man with a weapon. Now, a lawyer for that hotel employee says police attempted a cover-up that day.
And Arizona is preparing for the approval of a COVID-19 shot, how the state plans to handle a limited rollout of vaccines.
Arizona focusing on empowering female minorities in their October lecture series. We'll tell you how you can get involved virtually, a big topic of discussion across the country this year. I'm looking forward to it. 6 o'clock now on this Saturday. I'm NOHELANI GRAF.
And I'm Mark Thompson, social distancing from home, and we finished up last hour talking about holiday stamps and, getting ready for the change of seasons, but we're still, with those 100-degree plus temperatures out there. So trying to get into the spirit nonetheless. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've maybe even seen the memes this week, like it's fall in Arizona. That means absolutely nothing, at least not for a little while. But and maybe once we hit October, we'll start to get there. And then you can at least start pulling out the decorations to feel a little more seasonal. Temperatures right now, though, the morning temperatures are what feel a little bit more like fall, at least in Arizona fall. We're in the low to mid 70s. Even Phoenix Metro dropping into the 70s this morning. Now at 79 degrees. Goodyear down to 73. So it's nice and comfortable if you want to pull the bike out and go for a ride. This is a great morning to do it. The sun will officially be up at 6:19 this morning, and we're going to linger in the 70s for a while. By 10, we're in the upper 80s, and then by 2 o'clock today, we will hit those triple digits, and we're going to climb a little higher than 101 at 2 o'clock. So I'll talk more about our peak heat today and also what you can expect in that full, most accurate forecast. But first, we want to start you off with a traffic alert this morning. This is a live look right now at the northbound section of the 51. You can see off to the right there, it is closed, and this is at SHEA because of a serious crash. Officials tell us that there were reports of a wrong-way driver in the area who was doing donuts. Right now, an investigation is underway to determine if that is in fact true, but you can see there has been a huge police presence out there all night long, and that car did end up flipped on its side, as you can see in the video that our photographer picked up. We are told that there were injuries related to that crash, but they haven't released any more information about how many people were in that car, the severity of those injuries. Our crew on scene did see troopers questioning the driver, and they did take someone into custody, but so far we haven't gotten any word on charges. So we'll keep you updated as we learn more. And this morning, Phoenix police are investigating a crash at 44th Street and Washington. Our crew on scene, they're telling us that it looks like a car hit a person that was crossing the street. So far, no word on what happened there or that person's condition this morning.
Police in Gila River are investigating after reports of possible explosions at Pacific Scientific Friday night. The facility is located off the I-10 near Wild Horse Pass Casino. Our Cliff Castle chopper capturing this video overhead. You can see fire trucks on scene. According to the facility's website, they specialize in pyrotechnics. So we're working to get more information this morning about exactly what happened last night, what might have gone wrong.
And in the West Valley, a deadly crash shutting down a freeway for some time Friday night. At least one person was killed on the southbound side of the 101. This is near Grand. That crash is still under investigation this morning.
I'm the sergeant, I'm the supervisor you're going to get.
I want someone
the first
higher.
thing you said to me.
I want someone higher.
No.
A Tempe police sergeant caught on camera, combative with victims of a crime, refusing to allow them access to a supervisor. ABC15 investigator Melissa BLASIUS just getting this video involving an already high-profile case where a black hotel employee was held at gunpoint by an officer who was supposed to be finding a white suspect.
Tempe police blurred every second of this newly released video. So while you can't see it very well, you can certainly hear the tone and the words of the officers and their supervisors. A lawyer for the hotel employee and hotel manager says the officer's behavior was unprofessional. She believes there was also a cover-up attempted here.
I'm the sergeant, I'm the supervisor you're going to get.
I want someone
the first
higher.
thing you said to me.
I want someone higher.
No.
A heated exchange between a Tempe police sergeant and Sean Hoover, the manager of this Hawthorne Suites. It's Sean who called 911 for help after a white guy inside the hotel pulled a gun on him and employee Trey Kumpion. First on scene, Officer Ronald Kurzaya.
White male, he's going to be wearing a black shirt, tan pants.
He radios out the suspect description and goes outside to search, finding employee Trey, who's black, at a side door.
I am responding to somebody with a firearm who matches your description. Do you understand that? Come here.
I got my hands up, man.
After the officer lets Trey go, a sergeant arrives on the scene, and the two hotel workers try to make a complaint.
Why do you guys have a black male on the ground when I clearly said he was white?
And then I got my hands up on the ground, and he's steadily holding his gun on me, and my hands up, and I'm on the ground.
This is ridiculous.
Where's the guy with the gun?
He already left. You guys missed him.
But instead of listening to the complaint, the sergeant walks outside and calls out on his police radio.
Everybody can slow it down. Manager's completely uncooperative.
Later, the sergeant's boss, a lieutenant, arrives. He seems to listen at first.
It's unfortunate this happened to you, Trey, and I apologize. I wasn't here. I'm not in those officer's shoes.
He says he'll investigate, which will take about a month, and he even promises him access to talk to a police commander. Then he reneges.
When you call a commander, you're complaining about me. So what am I not doing?
So I don't need to tell you that I'm complaining about you. I don't feel comfortable telling you what I'm going to complain about. I would like to speak to the commander. You told me you were going to call one that was off duty, and now you're retracting your statement.
I am, because I don't understand why it is you need to speak with the commander. What information have I not provided you?
Earlier this week, Trey filed a $2.5 million legal claim against Tempe, saying Officer Kurzaya was acting with racial bias when Trey was held at gunpoint. After reviewing the new video obtained by ABC15, a member of Trey's legal team says it's further evidence of the cultural problems at Tempe PD, adding every officer on film was combative, unprofessional, and most concerning is the fact that they attempted to prevent Trey and Sean from holding officers accountable by refusing to provide information and attempting to restrict who they could communicate with. That is a cover-up, and this is why our office supports calls to defund the department, because police violence and misconduct isn't limited to the actions of a few. It's inherent in leadership as well. A Tempe police spokeswoman tells us that the lieutenant in this case, Lieutenant Swig, did notify his on-call commander, who addressed the issues the next morning, as well as notified the Professional Standards Bureau. The police also say that all of the officers and supervisors involved in this investigation are part of the police's internal administrative investigation now. I'm investigator Melissa BLASIUS, ABC15 Arizona.
All right, ongoing story there, Melissa. Thank you. Well, waiting for guidance from the state. That's what one northern Arizona county says that they're doing as they prepare to move back into the red category for transmission of COVID-19. We're talking about Coconino County, and they will likely move into the substantial community transmission category next week. However, they say that they want to wait for guidance and direction from the state on what this will actually mean for business and mitigation measures that may need to be taken place. The state's former top public health director, Will Humble, says that the state needs to be clear on what the standards are for the public and especially for businesses.
They need to plan for staffing. They need to plan for how much alcohol to order, how much food to order. And if they're going to get shut down suddenly, they need to know that in advance. And one of the ways you would know that is by looking at the standards that have been developed. And so that's why it's important that if you're going to have standards, to be clear about what they mean.
Now, along with Coconino County, Pima County is also supposed to move back into the red. The state health department, they're expected to work with those counties individually to come up with a plan.
Now, as Arizona steps up its fight to reduce and track the spread of COVID-19, the state is also preparing for the day when a vaccine is available for distribution. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention targeted November 1st for a rollout if a vaccine is ready by then. How it's shipped, where it goes, who gets it, all of that is part of the logistical challenges that Arizona will face. For months, though, Arizona's Department of Health Services says it has worked with counties, tribes, and public health providers. The plan will resemble what it did 10 years ago when the department oversaw the distribution of the vaccine for the N1H1 virus, also known as the swine flu.
It's understanding what resources are out there within the community, what can they receive, what do they have the ability to receive, and or do they need to make some modifications so they have the ability to, so do they need to acquire like freezers?
Now, 10 years ago, the vaccine for swine flu went directly to the counties where it was then distributed to healthcare providers. But it is anticipated that the COVID vaccine distribution will be a bit more complicated. Governor Ducey said the U.S. military, National Guard, FEMA, and the Department of Emergency Management will all be involved. Arizona does hope to have its vaccine distribution plan ready by the end of October.
And we're on wildfire watch this morning. Buildings up in flames as a fast-moving fire spreads in the North Valley. It's called the Sears Fire, and it jumped to 5,200 acres overnight. This is on the Cave Creek Ranger District area there, and neighbors in the Sears K Ranch area told to evacuate earlier. It's still unclear what sparked the flames. No injuries have been reported thus far.
Now let's talk about that most accurate forecast. It is going to be toasty out there, but we are starting to get back into that comfortable hiking season. But you do still want to try and pick your earlier times to get up the mountain. We're in the 70s right now this morning. We're going to stay there through the mid-morning hours. That sunrise coming up in 10 minutes. By midday, it starts to get hot. So that's really not the best time to go. You know your body. You still need to be hydrating the same way that you would if it were 1:15 today. Thankfully, it will not be. If you wait for an evening hike, sunset, it's at 6:18, and we're still going to be in the upper 90s. So certainly before lunchtime is your best bet. The air quality is going to stay in the moderate category, although tomorrow we will notice hazier conditions as wildfire smoke does start to drift in more from the North Valley and from the west. Today, though, clear skies, sunny skies, staying dry and hot. 103 is that forecast high. But we are going to start trending down. I will show you how low those temperatures are going to go coming up in that full, most accurate forecast.
No, hey, thank you. 6:11 right now. Coming up, drive-through food drives across the valley today, making it easy and safe to give back to those who need it most in our community. And the Cardinals, they're slowly letting fans back into State Farm Stadium. The plan for tomorrow's game against the Lions. We'll tell you all of those details coming up. Happening today, the Phoenix Fire Department working to educate drivers about the proper use of booster and child seats during National Child Passenger Safety Week. You can get your child car seat installed properly. A lot of people think that they have it installed correctly, but they actually don't, so this is great here. This will be for free at North Phoenix Baptist Church. It runs from 7:30 until noon. Also today, the City of Mesa and Mesa Public Schools, they're offering COVID-19 testing and flu shots, both 2 for 1 here. It's happening for the next few Saturdays. This morning's event will run from 9 until noon at Lincoln Elementary School. That's near Southern and Mesa Drive. All tests and flu shots will be free. No appointment is needed. And St. Mary's Food Bank and United Food Bank, they're hosting a drive-through food drive this morning to help collect donations for the 1 Million Meal Challenge. Collection centers, they'll be at malls all across the valley, and they will be collected from 7 a.m. until noon. Good cause there.
And one of the really neat things about that Million Meal Challenge is a lot of the malls are offering something in return, like gift certificates to some of their different restaurants and things that they have available there. So you give something, you get something. Also, if you're going to go out there first half of the day, certainly more comfortable to do it because we will be toasty this weekend. 103 is that forecast high. So it's staying dry and hot. Tomorrow it'll be 102. We'll see a few more clouds roll in, and we also might see some hazy conditions. Our temperatures right now to the north are a little bit cooler this morning in Prescott than we were this time yesterday by 3 degrees. 7 degrees cooler in Show Low than this time yesterday, but it's a little bit warmer in Flagstaff, and we're right on par here in the valley with where we were yesterday. To our north in Flagstaff, you're in the 50s this morning. So we usually have been starting off in the 40s now. So it's a little bit more mild, but still nice and crisp up there. We're in the 30s at the Grand Canyon, dropping down to 34 degrees now in the 40s in Heber, 50s in Show Low, 60s in Prescott and Payson. And we've got 70s off to our west, just like here in the valley. A lot of low 70s here in the valley too. 70 degrees in Buckeye, 71 in Wickenburg, Anthem down to 70 degrees. It's 71 in Chandler right now, 73 in Santana Santan Valley, same temperature in Glendale. So nice and comfortable if you want to get outside for a run this morning or even take the dog out for a walk. At least both of you won't be sweating it out. Don't have to worry about their little paws on the pavement right now. And we're going to stay with these cooler temperatures for a while here. We'll be in the 70s through that 7 o'clock hour. By 8 o'clock, we're in the 80s and we'll linger in the 80s until about 11. Then we warm to 94 at 11 o'clock, and by noon, we're into the upper 90s. We will cross over into the century mark today, and our official high temperature in Phoenix will be 103. We'll also see that across the southern portion of the valley in Goodyear, Levine, Ahwatukee, Chandler, and Gilbert. It'll be 102 in Santan Valley, as well as Fountain Hills, Scottsdale, and Deer Valley neighborhoods, but we're staying in the upper 90s in Anthem and Cave Creek. Our average for this time of year is 94, so even with those temperatures in the upper 90s, still above the average. To our west, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 100s, 102 in Yuma, 104 in Lake Havasu City, close to that in Bullhead City. Up in Sedona, still toasty today, low 90s, and we'll come close to 90 in Prescott and Payson. But we're going to stay in the low to mid 80s north of the rim. Show Low topping out at 85, same temperature in Window Rock. Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon staying in the low 80s. You'll also notice if you're in the high country today, those breezes are going to pick up across northern Arizona and particularly northwestern Arizona, where sustained winds in areas like Kingman, Bullhead City, Colorado River Valley will be around 20 miles an hour. Up in Flagstaff, we'll come close to 20-mile-an-hour winds, and you could even see gusts at times between 20 and 30 miles an hour. And those breezes will track along the eastern portion of our state as well, but they'll stay calm here in the valley. We're not going to get much help from the wind to keep us cool, but we will start to trend down. 102 tomorrow, staying in the low 100s to start the work week, and by Tuesday, we're down into double digits. Right now, it looks like that forecast high for Tuesday is 99 degrees. So it's been a while since we've seen that, and at least we're getting closer to the average. Again, I mentioned we should be in the mid 90s. So I'll show you how long we stay in double digits and what happens to our morning lows. I think you might want to start going to bed with the windows open by the end of this week. So I'll show you that in the 7-day coming up a little bit later this morning, Mark.
Yeah, I just wish we saw some little raindrops in those icons you're creating there, Nohe. All right, thank you so much. Well, you know, the Pac-12 Conference, they've taken some heat, especially for the way that the commissioner has handled quite a few issues, but not this one. When it comes to the return of play plan, Sun Devils head coach Herm Edwards, he applauded the conference decision makers for their approach, and now the Sun Devils, they are preparing for 7 games in 6 weeks.
So what was going to happen? We had to make sure the 2021 season would not be affected. But we don't know what this is going to look like 2 months from now, or a month from now, a week from now. We're going week to week. You're just, I mean, they shut the Golden Domers down. I mean, really? You can't shut the Golden Domers down. They shut them down.
Oh, man, Herm. Love his sound bites there. And he's speaking about the Notre Dame game against Wake Forest today. That was one of several that were canceled due to a number of positive COVID-19 tests. Now to the Cardinals, and they're hosting the Detroit Lions tomorrow. They're 2-0. Let's make it 3-0. Kickoff is at 1:25, and there will be actually some fans in the stands cheering the Cardinals on. The team has approval from the county and the state to allow up to 750 people in the stadium. It's not a lot, but it's a start, and this will be immediate family members or close friends of the players and coaching staff. And today, the Phoenix Rising, they play Orange County. You can catch all of that action live on our sister station, CW61 Arizona. That'll be at 7:30, or you can stream it live on the ABC15 app, Roku, and these other streaming devices. Well, coming up, a beautiful story of hope in the middle of this pandemic. One Valley couple beating coronavirus hand in hand. And also next, Arizona creating this month's lecture series to honor the 100-year anniversary of women's voting rights. We'll have all of those details coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Women are in the spotlight right now. It is the 100th anniversary of a woman's right to vote. And now a unique chance for you to learn even more about female empowerment. Joining me this morning is Professor Maribel Alvarez from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences at the University of Arizona. Professor Alvarez, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So you guys are about to launch your annual lecture series. And this year, you've always taken on a wide range of topics, but this year you're tackling a really big one, and that's female empowerment. Tell me about it.
You know, as we were preparing for the 8th annual lecture series in downtown Tucson, there were so many topics that we actually considered. And we thought, wow, we have so many amazing women faculty in our college who are able to deliver messages of empowerment. Why not make that the focus this year with the theme Woman Power?
And one of the things is, there is a positive. There have been a lot of things that have been difficult about the pandemic, but one thing that is positive this year is you guys are switching to a virtual event. So now it opens it up to the entire community wherever you are.
You know, there are silver linings to this critical moment we're all going through, and that is one of them. You can access the lectures online. They will be on the college YouTube channel. We believe that we are adapting to maintain some of the excitement by having interesting topics, dynamic speakers, and giving people the opportunity to connect from wherever they are, even in their pajamas at home.
Absolutely. And some of the topics that you're tackling within female empowerment, there's a big focus on women who are in minority groups, Black women, Latinas. Talk to me a little bit about your focus and what you hope the takeaway is for those series.
Yeah, I think that topic of woman power and diversity and empowerment across issues of race that we've been sort of really confronted with this summer and this year in new ways are not unrelated. We have an incredible African-American scholar who's an expert on women's speech in the tradition of African-American language use. And we have a political scientist who is an expert on Latina and Latino voting patterns and powers structures and also glass ceilings in terms of why are so many Latina women who are the first off, whether that is the first Supreme Court justice or the first governor, and she's going to look into that. I mean, it just goes on. And to close it, we were able to secure an interview with Yalitza Aparicio, who was the indigenous woman character in the film Roma, and the only indigenous woman who have ever to be nominated for an Academy Award as Best Actress.
Yeah, she was absolutely a trailblazer and did an amazing job in that film. So that'll be an exciting cap off to the event. So if people want to take part and they want to watch, how do we do that?
Well, the sbs.arizona website has all of the information, the registration links for each talk, summaries, bios of the speaker. So that's the best way to get the whole package.
And you can mark your calendars because it'll start happening every Thursday in October. Professor Alvarez, thank you so much. I think this is going to be such an inspiring series to watch and certainly pave the way for a new wave of thinking, especially among women.
Thank you. I hope that we do get a lot of folks from all across the state paying attention to the goodies that we have here in Tucson at the University of Arizona. Thank you.